Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kash Iftikhar. I run product and strategy for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, commonly known as OCI. My team is responsible for working with many of our partners, our customers, our global system integrators, ISVs, and we work very closely with our partners to bring all of your feature and requirements back to the product so we can build some awesome product for you guys that you can use and solve the complex problems that you're trying to solve from an application perspective and deliver that to your customer base. Yeah. This is probably the second last session before the big party, so I know everybody's excited. We made it. But the context and the content of this session is very interesting for us because this is probably the most sort of use case, the number one use case that we're seeing from an Oracle Cloud Infrastructure is migration or upgrade of workloads moving to OCI. And it's no surprise that it's a combination of different applications. Some of them are Oracle applications running on Oracle databases. There are also third-party applications that are running on Oracle databases. And one thing I've been trying to making sure that it gets conveyed is Oracle has not built OCI just to accommodate Oracle workloads. We have an open platform where you can run Oracle applications, third-party applications. But what you're going to hear from these use cases is some of the interesting problems that are being solved by some of our customers. I'm really grateful for them being here on stage with me. And then I think we're going to try to extract the rationale and reasoning of why they made that decision, how their project is actually going, and what they look into the future as far as delivering services to their customers. With that, I have to show this customary slide. You've read it? Good. So I wanted to introduce my distinguished panel. Ben from Covanta Energy, Sanjay from 7-Eleven, and Paramjeet from HID Global. The way we're going to roll with this is we're going to go through an introduction. These people will introduce themselves and their companies, and then we will go through a Q&A around the business reason why they made a decision to move to OCI and details about their project. Okay, so with that, I will hand it over to Ben. Ben, thank you very much for participating, and why don't you walk us through a little bit about a background about yourself and your company.
Yes, my name is Ben Cabrera, and I am the Vice President and Chief Information Officer for Covanta. Covanta is a global waste services company. We are an energy from waste company. We have 46 power plants in the US and a half dozen overseas. And what we do is we take municipal and industrial waste and we generate clean, renewable energy. In addition to that, we recycle in excess of 500,000 tons of metal a year, a sufficient amount actually to build about 5 Golden Gate bridges that you'll see here in the city of San Francisco, equivalent. Our environment is currently, we have been on OCI now for the past 6 months. We made the migration in the June timeframe, and we were moving from a Oracle Managed Cloud Service Environment, OMCS. So our decision to move to OCI was driven by our desire to have a more robust operational environment. While OMCS was very reliable, we weren't finding the level of flexibility or scalability that we needed at the speed that we needed. And that provides, so what for our 14, we run our PeopleSoft platform, financials, procurement, asset management, and maintenance management, about 14 modules at all. And what that did for us in moving to OCI was give us the flexibility that we need and the increased security that we were looking for from the perspective of some of the newer technologies that have been brought into this Gen 2 architecture that you find with OCI.
Thank you very much. We'll move over to Sanjay. Although your company is a popular brand name, we need no introduction, but it'll serve the audience. It'll be great for you to sort of walk your background and your company.
Okay, so unfortunately, I have only 2 more slides after this, so I don't want to, let the cat out of the bag. So just don't click after that. Okay. All right. So sorry, my apologies. My voice is very, very loud, and my wife tells me about this all the time. So who knows what's the tagline for 7-Eleven? Anybody? It says, "Oh, thank heaven." You know why? Because there is 7-Eleven. Okay, so that's why. So anyway, so the reason I'm here today is because Oracle helped us considerably on our one of the biggest ventures that we are undertaking right now, and that is we have several. I mean, we are not new to Oracle at all. We have several Oracle applications currently working inside 7-Eleven. What we did not have is a disaster recovery for those 7-Eleven, for those applications. And we just completed that project very successfully. So Oracle, starting from Oracle Sales, Oracle Consulting, and OCI actually helped us build our first ever Oracle DR for the 7-Eleven. So that's why, and I'm happy to talk about a little bit more about that.
Should I show the next slide, or are we good?
No. Okay. So anyway, a little bit about my group. So I belong to the group called Enterprise Architecture, Enterprise Infrastructure. What we do is basically KTLO, keep the lights on for the whole company. So my group works, I mean, we're responsible for all the on-prem servers, all the cloud servers, all the VMs, anything and everything that you can think of, we actually manage that. And so the project was actually handed over from business to the infrastructure people to actually manage, build, and deploy Oracle applications to the DR. So what did we do? Go ahead. So these are my magnificent 7. Okay, so we were able to deploy 7 Oracle apps to the Oracle DR. And the reason I call them Magnificent 7 because they are by the, they're by the best Magnificent 7 applications that currently Oracle has. So we did DRM, PLM, OBIE, EBS, MOM, and ODIs that are currently deployed. So a little bit about the deployment. Actually, very, very kudos to the Oracle consulting team, OCI. In first 2 weeks, believe it or not, after the project was done, was signed off, the network infrastructure was in place. IP addresses, subnets, everything was started working, and they started building the VM servers. 9 weeks into the project, the data was syncing already. So we had passed a major hurdle for the company. 13 to 14 weeks, the application tier was ready, and we were able to deploy. So now we actually have brought down from our SLAs from multiple weeks of recovery to a few hours. So that's a great achievement, and thanks to Oracle and Oracle Consulting. That's it.
Fantastic, thank you. Paramjeet, for your company, if you're entering Oracle or some other organization, if the badge doesn't work, I mean, something is not working in your organization, right?
First of all, about myself, Paramjeet Singh, I am the IT director for HID Global. A lot of people know about the company. Some people, they will recognize this company through a flagship product that we have, which is the badges that you use and you carry on your offices and doors. So those black key readers and those badges are most likely manufactured by HID Global. So that is one of the flagship products we have. HID Global as an organization is basically creates trusted identities for places, things, and elements that we have. So we create identities where you can trust those identities across various enterprises, various users in the industry, and various products that the companies sell. So this is one of the key elements of HID Global. Now, as my role in the company, I manage or I am responsible for the global data services, the application management, as well as the integrations, all those elements of HID Global applications. Those could be backend applications, enterprise applications, or the customer-facing applications. So my team takes care of all those aspects. We started a journey of OCI, talking about OCI last year. One of the primary reasons for our OCI being choosing OCI was because we were Oracle-centric in the first place. We had looked at other providers as well, and we were actually ending into the life cycle on our assets as well. So we were pretty much depreciated on all of it. And this year, probably we're trying to make sure that we have a time where we can cut off, where our depreciation cost is all kind of taken out, and we are in OCI, so we basically are net zero. That was one of the elements we looked at from the financial side of it, but OCI also had a value propositions for us because the infrastructure they were trying to build and they kind of committed to was best of the all. So we looked at that. We started in January, and we were able to migrate our entire IT applications, which runs Oracle EBS, version 12.1.3, which we started with 11G database, with PLM, with SOA PIP, a connector, Discover, Vertex, all bundled together as a part of phase one, move to the OCI cloud, as well as upgrade Oracle EBS to 12.2.7 with a 12C database running under it, with Agile upgrade and SOA upgrade, all those things, elements, all done 8 months. And we are very happy. We just went live on October the 8th, and 2 weeks and 2.5 weeks have passed by, no major issues. Customer is happy, we are happy, and we're just waiting for the final close, which is the month-end close is going to come in a few days, and we're hoping things will be very much smoother as well. So we're very happy to be in the OCI cloud, and we have plans, future plans to move even other applications which may be non-Oracle to the cloud as well.
Thank you very much for that. So why don't we go into a little bit more detail? And what I will try to extract is like I mentioned, kind of the rationale why you're making such decisions and what actually goes on into the project. So one of the things that I hear from customers that these are major transformational projects. These are not standalone, small little application islands that you're migrating. These are some of the critical applications that are powering your enterprises. For that, you want to interact with a partner, right, who's typically been your vendor. So with OCI, we've tried very hard to sort of present a differentiated way of engaging with our customer, both from the experience you get on the platform and how you engage with us. So if you can sort of help people understand the kind of partnership you've seen coming from Oracle and OCI team in general, I think that would be good for everybody to hear about. And we can start with you since you have the mic with you. So.
Yeah, so to be very honest, Oracle has been a very strong and very faithful partner through the journey as we moved along. If you talk about cloud in general, 2 years back, I think most of us probably would not even think of going to the cloud right away. There was a question about security, question about maturity of the cloud, and are we going to be supporting the business, the growth of the business, the capabilities that they're looking for in the cloud, how the network is going to work, will it perform better, not better? But things have changed quite a bit. During the whole course of our conceptualizing about going to the cloud and actually moving to the cloud, Oracle has been a great partner with us. We did work with a system integrator company to help us go to the cloud. But throughout the journey, we have seen anytime any issues may have emerged, any questions that may have come through, any of the orchestration that we use to deploy VMs on the cloud where Oracle needs to pitch in SRs and how quickly they're resolving those SRs. Support is getting initiated, and they are actually helping hand in that. And the whole element, whole teamwork that we saw in this whole journey was commendable. And we are very happy the way it all worked. In fact, my own concept about Oracle has changed quite a bit during this part of journey that I can tell you, because I actually was a technical person at the very beginning of my career. I have seen how things have changed. Unbelievable. Holding hands that they all want to win, and we are all winners in this case. Thank you, Oracle, for that.
Yeah.
So let me paint a scenario for you guys. If you ask somebody, where is the nearest 7-Eleven? You'll probably get multiple answers, right? Okay, go that way and then turn left that way and then it's right there. Somebody said, no, go that way and then go that way. Well, think about it now. This is at about 4 o'clock. But make this at 2:30 a.m. You're working on that RFP or that presentation, and you ask somebody, by the way, where's the nearest 7-Eleven? Pinpoint answer. Go 2 blocks, turn left, 7-Eleven is right there. Why am I telling you this? Because we were in that boat, and actually Oracle became our 7-Eleven for that, okay? So we needed somebody clear direction as to how to deploy the DR. What should we do? So what do? We actually, talk to the best, invest in them, and then get it done the way they say it. So we got OCI, we got Oracle Consulting, and we deployed our applications. That's how we got with OCI. With OCI, we had absolutely no problems. Actually, whenever we do the failover, and actually I manage that project. Whenever we do failover, our testing of the failovers happens all the time. Many times, my developers say, let's not fail back, because failed over state is wicked fast. I mean, lightning fast. So that's what OCI brought to the table. And we had exadatas on our prem, on our data centers, so we definitely needed exadatas on the OCI, and OCI offered us that. So it was a clear choice.
As I mentioned earlier, Covanta migrated its PeopleSoft platform from OCS to OCI. And the difference that we saw from day one, and it was started in probably mid-2017, when we started thinking about moving to OCI, and we started working with the OCI sales account team and their sales engineers, and they're more technical, they're architects, and we saw a very different perspective of Oracle in the sense of the intent, the drive, the passion about this platform and what they believed it could be. We spent about 6 months drilling, looking at the architecture, looking at it from a technical perspective, really understanding from a security, in particular security perspective. We teamed with our third-party support from Cognizant. So we were fortunate to have two strong partners to work with. And in working with the Oracle team, we felt from when we decided to move that we were going in the right direction with a platform that was live and was real, a platform that could support us now, that this wasn't vaporware, this wasn't someone's idea, this was a platform that could help us drive this organization forward. And we were making a major commitment. The reality is that if our PeopleSoft platform goes down, it's a $1.75 billion company, and we have not only entities that depend on us for the electricity we produce, they also depend on us to accept the waste that we accept in order to produce that energy. We process over 20 million tons of waste a year. So if we're down, if those facilities are down, that's a major problem in the local area. So for us, the decision to move to OCI was an extremely serious one, because we really, in some cases, you could say we kind of bet the farm on making that move. And yet we consistently found every one of our questions was addressed, every one of our concerns were addressed, and found a real partner in the team working with us. And again, we've been live now for the 5 months. We've seen a 20 to 25% improvement in performance. We've seen situations where things that used to take 2 weeks can be done now in a few hours to a day. We've seen significant improvement across the board. And what we have also found, because we are a hybrid, arguably we are one of the first, if the first major power company or waste company, depending on how you want to see us, to move completely into the cloud. We're about 90% in the cloud. We have a hybrid architecture. And while OCI isn't our only cloud environment, it is probably, quite frankly, the most critical one. And our experience here has us now thinking from a future perspective of moving further, addition of our assets into OCI.
Yeah, maybe you can double click into the following point. How do you, as a CIO, make a decision of which applications, critical applications, move to the cloud? Meaning, what I've heard is, well, the reason would be that you're shutting down your data centers, or maybe you have a cloud transformation strategy. And I think people who are going to listen to this broadcast and here in the room are all kind of in the midst of making those decisions. So kind of walk us through how do you come up with the rationale of which application to move? What is the compelling event behind the move to OCI or the cloud for you?
For us, it was based, as I said earlier, on performance and frankly, on the security aspect of it. While OMCS is a secure environment, while OMCS is a solid platform, we did not experience major failures or issues in that environment. We felt that from a longer-term perspective, from a technological perspective, we didn't feel that it provided us the robust environment that we needed as an organization. Covanta is making major inroads into the metals business. We recycle 500,000 tons of metal a year. We're looking to expand that significantly. We now provide Covanta environmental services, so we provide a full range of end-to-end waste services and solutions for companies like Pfizer and Merck and other pharmaceuticals, General Electric, for example. And in order to be able to grow our business, we have to be on a solid platform that we know is not only going to perform for us, but is going to continue to be invested and grow and allow us to leverage the technologies that we're looking to moving forward, from analytics to AI to any number of other areas.
So performance and the ability to expand and build on future services. Maybe you can sort of give us an insight as well. How do you make such decisions? Which applications you go
Okay.
to the cloud?
Well, for us, it was a very clear direction. We wanted to make sure that all our Oracle applications had a disaster recovery. So that was absolute clearly the direction that was given. One more thing that also fueled this move was we wanted to actually get out of the data center that we were currently hosting our servers from. Financial reasons, all kinds of things. So this came as a win-win situation. So we didn't have a DR, we wanted to create a DR, and this DR project was just basically the framework that we laid out for anything and everything that is happening after that. So there's a 2-3 year plan that is happening with OCI, what we can do. Eventually, we probably would want to stay in OCI as a prod, not just DR. So all that started snowballing. And then financial reasons, architecture decisions, basically timelines, and going to the cloud, scalability, all these things started playing a major role into that. And then after that, it was basically very, very clear decision to just go and move it.
Yeah, Paramjeet?
So our decision of going to the cloud had multiple facets to it. Certainly, as I mentioned earlier, life cycle on the hardware refresh was one of the financial decisions that we had to make. We knew that's coming. So instead of building the whole new converged architecture and refreshing the whole hardware again, we were in the cusp of making a decision that we should be going to the cloud because it gives us those capabilities, reliability, and also we can scale through it. The other decision was based upon our application itself. Now, as I mentioned, we are Oracle EBS shop, and we were running 12.1.3 version of Oracle applications. And our business is changing quite a bit. From the physical cards that we manufacture, like selling a product, we were going into more of a subscription billing model, as a lot of products, a lot of services are being enabled now. So we're looking at Oracle EBS upgrade as well, and 12.2 version or higher, or 4 version, I would say, higher, we're having those capabilities, those out-of-the-box capabilities in those applications that business was looking to get out of that. And then security element is very important. As we are a security company, we wanted to make sure that we have the best of the breed security across the enterprise through our data centers. And also, we didn't want it to be in the data center business at all. So that was the whole driver from our corporate to get out of the data center business. So all those things combined together, we looked at various providers. And now we do have presence in AWS as well. A few of our applications do run there. But the licensing model doesn't work very well with Oracle. That's the first thing that one has to look at it. And Oracle, we are using Oracle as a product. We have to do the upgrade in Oracle. It gave us all the elements that we were looking to move into the cloud. And with the timelines that we had, the aggressive timelines, like get everything done in 8 months was remarkable. It's unheard of to have an application running EBS, Agile, all the elements supporting your manufacturing, financials, contracts, install base, all those elements, plus your PLM products, move them to the cloud, lift and shift, upgrade it over there, and make sure all integration RISE components all connected together and all working together. That was one of the things that we discussed. We got the understanding how it's all going to work. We had a plan of action. Oracle stood by us, our system integrator company, Centroid, that we work with, they stood by us, and we kind of put a very crisp plan, and we moved forward. And we now, at this time, we are seeing the performance is excellent. In fact, just an example, Oracle provides some VM shapes. They have certain VM shapes or templates that you get, which are basically predefined CPUs and memories on those VMs. We found out that certain VM shapes that we have deployed for some of our applications, we are getting better throughput and better performance in comparison to our on-premise environments. So that was one of the facts that we came down, and even you want to switch between one template to another template was not even a tough task. Just bring things down, switch it, and you're good to go. So basically, it has a lot of cost savings there as well, right? They're built into the whole architecture. So some of those strategies, decisions were made because of some of these capabilities that we get out of OCI.
Yeah, thanks for going through that. And you have specific metrics and you get into the details. Just to elaborate a little bit on that, when you build a cloud at scale, there's a design philosophy that goes beyond it, right? To support a business outcome. And from an Oracle perspective, if it's not obvious, I mean, since we are in that team and we're responsible for that, our business rationale was, when we are going to design the next generation enterprise cloud, if you would allow me to say it, the other cloud providers we think are generation 1 and we're generation 2. We started a little bit late, but based on that, we had a lot of learnings around how to scale large scale clusters on which all of these applications run. But the reason why you're seeing these performance advantages actually related to a direct business outcome is because of the way the infrastructure is designed. We care a lot about security. All of our requirements came from primarily very complex enterprise use cases, which we believe at this stage, some of the cloud providers are not even close to solving. Because the problem that they're trying to solve is for a segment of customer, which initially started using the cloud, where performance, latency, security was not the top concern. It was scale out. It was scale up to peak workloads kind of an environment. So the underlying infrastructure is heavily oversubscribed in the case of other cloud providers, and Oracle wanted to build it very different, because we want to say, okay, if you have on-prem applications, you should be able to bring them over to our cloud without many changes. And based on that, I think one of the things that I also keep on hearing, maybe you can give us a view, is some of these applications are quite complex, and generally, some people don't want to sort of lift and shift these applications. They want to move to let's say SaaS. So in your case, what is the reason the EBS or the other application that you're using here, you had to lift and shift and you could not take it to let's say a pure SaaS environment?
The multitude of decisions, I think the timelines, that was one of the things, because after all, sometimes when you are in the cloud journey, you want to really don't get overboard with it. We wanted to understand what we are dealing with here, because the company's corporate applications, running financials, everything depends upon it. And we had some limitation challenges with the time, how we wanted to go live with that. That was one of the elements. The other element is, as a manufacturing organizations with the different modules that we used, we thought of maybe cookie cutting approach, that maybe we can go with one element to a SaaS model, another element without a SaaS model. So we said, let's take a step forward. Let's take a first step to move ourselves to the Oracle OCI Data Center Cloud on the IaaS model. We have licenses for those products. We can bring our own licenses, and we can continue. But as we mature around these products, utilizations and stuff like that, and we have these customizations that we have to deal with it now anyways, maybe the next generation phase 2, when we do, we will probably move to the SaaS model. But those decisions were based mostly around the timings we were looking to, and also our asset refresh cycles that we were heading towards. And we wanted these new capabilities of subscription billing with 12.2 version EBS upgrade. That's very essential for us, was one of the other elements that actually was considered. And then we made a decision to go to the IaaS model.
Yeah. Sanjay, you want to expand on that too?
So for us, it is actually like for like. Because this is a disaster recovery. So we have to fail over with exactly what we have. Otherwise, the business will not work. So, but does that mean that we are not thinking about SaaS or PaaS? Of course we are. That's the whole idea behind putting this OCI framework in place and putting the DR as the first and then expanding upon that. So we are in the process of thinking about which application should go for SaaS, which should stay just as infrastructure as a service, or what should go as PaaS. But right now, DR is just like for like.
Great.
It's interesting because about 30% of our portfolio is SaaS solutions that we've deployed both in the HCM space and in other areas. So we're very familiar with that SaaS environment. We had considered moving to a SaaS, Oracle in the Cloud solution. However, what we found is that we've made major investments in NetSuite, which is the platform we use to run our Covanta environmental services, and then we had made some significant investments 3 years ago in moving to PeopleSoft 9.2, and we are now in a position where our portfolio, by and large, roughly about 90% of it, if not more, is within 12 months of the latest version, and we work very hard to keep that. So, from a movement perspective, there was. In the organization, there wasn't the stomach to really make that move yet, although we plan to make it in the next 2 to 3 years. But the thought of moving to SaaS certainly is something that we look forward to doing that at some point.
So a question for all of you. I'll let you guys pick up who wants to go first. We have built a platform. It's feature rich. We provide different shapes, VMs, bare metal, containers. We just announced Project FN, which is a version of, let's say, Lambda, but in open source. We do database. We offer you Exadata services. What are the key features you found on the platform that you think are differentiated, or this is something you really like about the OCR platform? Anyone can go first.
I'll start with that. From a security perspective, when we decided to move to OCI, we implemented Dyn, which is their web application security platform, and we felt that definitely was a game changer from the perspective of giving us an additional level of security and additional comfort with respect to the robustness of the platform and our ability to manage and understand what's actually happening within the context of our environment.
So it just actually sounds pretty funny thinking about this, that how OCI is orchestrated and how 7-Eleven's enterprise infrastructure group is orchestrated is absolutely exactly the same. So just like how OCI has networks, servers, databases, app tier, security, internally our company's built, my group is exactly like that. So assigning roles and responsibilities to each group was absolutely a breeze, to be honest with you. Our network group manages the networks. Our server group manages the servers. We also have vendors just like you guys. So I'm going to give a shout out to Cognizant and Wipro. If you guys are there, thank you so much. Good job. And so they manage the app tier and the data tier, even on the cloud. So actually, it was perfect. I mean, when Oracle team was explaining this to us, we have this, we have that, and we were saying, yeah, perfect, love it, So
great.
So I will talk a little bit about some of the minute, small, important elements that I saw the benefits right away. Now, when we were running environments in the Austin, which we are headquartered in, we had requirements to build the non-production environments coming up very frequently. As the company is growing through acquisitions, you need new environments to build in devs and tests and QAs. So Oracle OCI gave us a snapshot technology. So we got a snapshot technology to replicate the database in a short amount of time, and we can build the databases fairly quickly. We are still getting our handles on that because we just went live on the 8th of October. But having that feature right away available to you, if you don't have those capabilities in your organization today, is like you're just getting something out of like a bonus right there. The other element that we loved about this OCI was an orchestration of deploying VMs. So you can use Terraform or other utilities like a DevOps element. You can bundle things together and deploy your VMs right there. And you have standard VMs with all configurations, all security built into it. You can deploy across all your environments right there. You don't have to change a thing. Now, if you are going by the traditional approach, you have to go and put your DevOps and Ansibles and all kinds of elements to do some of those works. Oracle already gives you that element. There was another thing that I just added a new value to it. And when we looked at the entire architecture, how Oracle has OCI put together, they have these concept of regions, And they have availability domains. So you can split your environments into different availability domains. So you can build a new HA architecture for yourself if you are looking at from the technical side of it. It allows you to do and play with things that you wouldn't be doing it in your own data center. And with their data centers connected, you can quickly enable DR as well, which we are looking for the future. But having those different availability domains available to you with capabilities of failing over from one to another one. Also, even bundling your production into one VCNs and devs onto another VCNs or containers and making them secure. Those capabilities, those minute details, those are added values that we got out of OCI.
Thank you. And just to expand on that, kind of bubble up some of the key points, which I want to make sure that, you know, are some of your takeaways. You know, we used to talk about, you know, moving to the cloud, taking a bunch of, you know, developer workloads, and that's where you would start your cloud journey. Then the other option is, you know, hey, you know what, these are old legacy or whatever applications. The way to transform the journey to the cloud is just rewrite everything. And that's an option presented by a lot of other cloud providers as well. The fact is, I think that should not be the way the cloud providers need to think about that. The choice should always be with customers. The technology should be provided by the cloud provider. You can choose your path. You can choose to transform, transition. You know, you can start with you know, your backup in case of you, or you could start with your production grade environment. You can lift and shift. You can start with cloud native narratives and start building your application that way. I really think that, you know, the choice, it's incumbent upon the cloud providers to provide you those options. And I think the other key takeaway is, you know, these are some of the critical applications where if they don't run, you know, the business will be impacted directly. These are not like some standalone sort of workloads, and these are all some really important businesses that you're hearing from. So I think there's a big leap that customers make in terms of making that choice. And from our perspective, you got to understand that we certainly understand and feel that responsibility. And so we are not only delivering that to our customers, but we are also doing the same thing for our applications. So our call center, which powers like hundreds of thousands of agents, is running on OCI. Our data cloud is running on OCI. Our SaaS applications will run on OCI. Our critical application that power 150,000 person organization are running on OCI. So we are in this with you together. Last point I wanted to make is that I think that you guys mentioned Cognizant or Infosys or, you know, in some cases Accenture and local partners. We have invested a lot of effort and energy enabling an ecosystem. This could not be Oracle alone with the customers. So having an extended reach of partners that can help you with this transition, I think you will find a lot of help out there. And last, from my perspective is, you know, these applications, because I've spent a lot of time personally on the cloud native side of the house. It's not like, you know, you give a bunch of APIs and you tell the IT guys, you know, go roll it. Doesn't work that way. These applications are different. And it's not like, you know, these IT organizations want to move slow, right? It's just because it's different. It's more complicated. So I think what we have done is provided a lot of tooling now. So you saw and heard, or you heard EBS, Siebel, PeopleSoft, OBIE, all of these applications that Oracle you know, users use. So we have built some tooling that can help you with the migration, along with database migration, and along with some other services which get involved in the lift and shift of application, like data transfer services. So we will ship you an appliance to your premise that can back up all of your you know, data store, and we'll plug it into our data center and it comes alive. So this is which is something that I think you use. So I think it's a multitude of all of those things, but right now I can confidently tell you, as a responsible person of this organization, that if you have such a use case, we feel pretty comfortable that we can accommodate that, and we will engage with you directly or work through our partners. I really appreciate your time. In closing, is there anything that you wanted to share? Maybe a future about where you're taking your applications specific to you, or, you know, what do you expect from, you know, a team like OCI?
So with the migration successfully done for us, we are actually looking now forward to the coming quarter and the next quarter. We are now looking at even migrating our non-Oracle assets, a lot of SQLs and stuff, to the Oracle OCI cloud as well. And now, because it has worked for us very well. And also enabling DR for the applications that we already have in the cloud. So that's also coming as we wanted to extend upon what we already have.
Fantastic.
So actually, the Oracle DR project, migrating from the data center hosted in Omaha to OCI actually spawned, believe it or not, several internal other cloud migration projects in the company. So we are actually taking a lot of our applications to Azure, to AWS, and even to OCI. So thank you to Oracle. We are actually that.
We're just givers,
propelled.
we just
absolutely. So that propelled a lot of energy inside the company to say, hey, wait a minute, these guys actually did it. Let's just move our application to cloud too. Okay. One more addition that we actually did, which is pretty interesting, is the Oracle Management Cloud Management Console. Right? Okay. I want to get that right. So we're actually one of the pioneers to actually implement that in the OCI. Not only now that OMC can look at the servers acting in OCI, but now it can also dip into the on-prem, and also it can be extended to Azure as well as AWS. So one single pane of glass, it looks at all the servers, it looks at how everything's doing, and it will tell you whether I need to bump up the CPU or the cores, or I need to tone it down. So actually, it's actually working pretty well.
We also, by the way, have used that and,
Yeah,
and I found it to be very useful, which really segues into my point. As Kash mentioned earlier, as a CIO, the decision to move into OCI was not one that I took lightly. If things didn't go well, that can be quite career-threatening, and I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now if that was the case. So I assure you that I didn't take that decision lightly. But my organization, although we're a small organization of less than 50 people, we're technically very strong. And what we found is we found peers on the OCI side, people who knew the infrastructure, who knew the technology, people who we could engage and speak with, that gave us intelligent, well thought out, and designed answers, answers that met answered our questions. And so for us, running in a multi-cloud environment where, again, about 30% of our portfolio is SaaS, but the rest is a mix of AWS, OCI, and Azure, I will tell you that pound for pound, as far as from a robust capability, we have found to be OCI to be the strongest environment. While there may be some areas that OCI is not as mature in and is developing, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And that when is coming very quickly. We believe is coming very quickly. So we have found that we really need to take OCI much more seriously moving forward, not only for our data analytics and our data warehousing, but for a whole host of other areas that we're looking at. So for us, moving further into OCI is in the plans.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Paramjeet. Thank you, Sanjay. Really appreciate your time. I know you flew from all over the place to be here with us, and I thank everybody participating. Last thing I would say is that we are in this journey with you together. We have probably I've done a couple of startups, and this is my third foray into a large company. This is probably the best engineering team I've ever worked with. And the reason is because we've got people who are really passionate about building the next generation cloud. And so we have expertise we had a lot of people from other cloud providers, and we have people from startups. So we take this as seriously as you do. So appreciate that. But we always remember that, like a key takeaway, these are production workloads, requires a very different way of thinking about your infrastructure, requires a very different way of operating the infrastructure. And also, the choice should be yours, right? We should be able to accommodate any kind of a use case, from cloud native to very complex enterprise use cases. So appreciate it. Enjoy Oracle Open World. There's a big party today, so it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you very much, and looking forward to hearing from you guys again next year. Yeah, thank you.